Hello, MSC, and welcome to Clean Slate once again. Wishing you a Merry Christmas as we get ready to review or discuss the Christmas movies that have just come out. Today we will be going over movies like Bad Santa, Elf, and also The Cat in the Hat. It's a little special thing. This time of year is so special, you know, and for movies, because we get the treats. We get those special treats every year. Those Christmas movies, the actors feel that are necessary to, you know, raise our spirits, you know, with their great acting ability. You know, Will Ferrell, you know, and people that just make our bellies shake with laughter during this time of year. We hope that, you know, that you can also get a little bit of nostalgia remembering some of your favorite Christmas movies of all time, you know, Home Alone and then Jingle All the Way, which is my personal favorite. Anyway, though, welcome to Clean Slate. Happy holidays, and we'll see you at the movies. Hello, MSC students, and today we're going to be starting off with our first movie, Elf. Now, Elf is a film starring Will Ferrell, and it was very good indeed. And we want to welcome you to sit down in front of the old TV set and join us to get into the holiday spirit. Today I am joined by my good friend, Dr. Brennan. He's going to be joining us in discussing this film, and we're glad to have him. Dr. Brennan, I would like to thank you for joining us here today and discussing this grand film. In my opinion, it was really, really a good film. I enjoyed it. And initially, what did you think?
Oh, I liked the film a lot. I thought it was really good. One of the things I liked about Elf was the artificiality of it. I liked the way that the North Pole was presented, sort of like those crazy claymation, Rudolph and Frosty the Snowman from, I guess they were made in like the 70s is when they were made, but it had that kind of crazy look to it. And even when he creates his sort of Christmas world, it's not a traditional Christmas world. It's like a glitzy, tacky, kind of crazy looking Christmas world. So that's one of the things I liked about the art direction. I thought it was really a fun vision of Christmas.
Now, offhand, along with that look it had, you know, that cartoony kind of look from the old videos that used to come out, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and some of the claymation characters that were in the movie. What did you think, along with that, of Will Ferrell's performance with this, and how he naturally fell into the childish feel that you know that should be presented as a human elf, you know? This was, you know, and along with his reactions to candy and all that, just so natural, to like it was normal food and all that. And when normally, you know, me personally, if I were acting with some, you know, I had to eat a whole bowl of candy, I'd probably not know how to do it as if I were a kid, but he did it naturally. What did you think of that?
Yeah, well, I think that, you know, one thing is I don't have Will Ferrell overload like a lot of people I know who didn't even go see the movie because Will Ferrell was in it. So I didn't have that reaction at all. I never even watched him much on Saturday Night Live. But I thought his portrayal of this sort of childlike, you know, child man, I thought it worked really well. I don't think it was his best performance. The best performance I've seen him do was Mugatu in Zoolander, but Zoolander wasn't as good of a movie, whereas I thought Elf was a better movie overall. And one of the things that I liked about his childlike performance is it kind of there was this theme in the movie about sons and fathers reconciling over holidays, which I thought was like a nice twist to add to a Christmas movie. So that kind of worked out nicely.
You know, how Santa's powers and stuff, how he knows everybody, and I like the way they did that in the sense. I like the sleigh but the reindeer were kind of left out in this movie. And what did you think of that?
Well, I think what's important is that the film does obey its own rules, so you're able to suspend your disbelief while you're watching it. So, you know, I didn't even think about the fact of whether or not he could do this because he was an elf or not. I just knew that, you know, this was his prime goal, was to create Christmas for everyone. But one of the things that I really liked about this, and you were talking about the father-son relationship or the mother, was the way that the film used these sort of recognizable actors who come in with certain types. For instance, James Kahn is always a heavy. Even if you like him, he's a heavy. You know, he comes in as sort of this complicated character. Mary Steenburgen, too, who played James Caan's wife, even though she only had maybe, I don't know, like 15 lines, or maybe 20, she was able to, you know, being the kind of actress she is, create this entire character behind these scant lines. When they had the conversation about the son, remember, in the bedroom, I thought it was great how they cut to the chase immediately. You know, where she's like, well, you know, you're not exactly the greatest father. And you get the idea that they've already had this conversation about him being a workaholic for, you know, this is like the 25th one or something that they've had. So these kinds of actors are able to bring a depth to the story material. Now, Will Ferrell, he's more of a comic actor, so he's this sort of like radically superficial character running through these real people's lives and kind of bringing the fun of Christmas to them. So I thought the film used that well. One of the things you'd mentioned, Santa, I love the fact that they used Ed Asner, which for someone from my generation, and for a lot of people, I think, you know, he's Mr. Grant. He's like the solid rock in Mary Tyler Moore's life, and if you've grown up watching this, you know he's sort of a curmudgeon. So it's funny to think of Santa as this lovable curmudgeon. So the film, one of the things it did is used casting really intelligently, I think, to bring that story to life.
What did you ultimately give this film? I mean, how many Christmas cookies did you give this film out of 10? 10 Christmas cookies.
Well, I'd give it probably 6.5. I'm a harsh judge, so, you know, 7 is entering the realm of greatness, and when you get to 9 and 10, it's a top 100 movie. So 6.5 and a glass of milk.
And finally, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Well, I guess, you know, my favorite Christmas-themed movie is probably Scrooged, which probably marks my age. But one of the things I liked about that movie is it was just so creative on so many levels. You had so many different talents coming together on that movie. And I thought Elf came close to Scrooged. Scrooged is sort of way up there as like, and plus it has that sort of anti-Christmas theme running through it, that sort of reaction to the schmaltz that makes the final punch of sentimentality stronger, because you've already kind of moved through this sort of, you know, aversion to it.
Yes, indeed. I enjoyed that. Well, Dr. Brennan, I want to thank you for joining us here on Clean Slate today.
Thanks for having me.
And as for you other MSC students and movie watchers sitting down watch this today, a Merry Christmas to you. And we'll see you at the movies. Happy holidays, MSC. And here we are with our friend Justin Lord. I'm going to ask him what he thought of the movie Elf. So what did you think?
It was pretty funny. It had a little bit of dry humor, but all in all, it's pretty funny. It's pretty good. Had a good story to it.
And out of about 10, what would you give it?
I rated about for a Christmas movie about a 7.
And what did you think of Elf?
I liked it. It was very funny, very lighthearted, perfect holiday movie.
And what would you give it out of 10?
9.
That's a good score. That's one of the highest ones we have around here.
Will Ferrell was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Well, MSC students, we're here in our theater here where we view most of our movies, the Clean Slate panel and all that. And here I have with me my co-critic Pierre Harris, and also today our special guest Dr. Bickford. And today we're going to be discussing the film Bad Santa that came out this holiday and really left our jaws dropped, and we were kind of, to say the least, stunned by the darkness of this comedy, especially to be a holiday movie in a sense. So what was your initial response, being that as it may, Dr. Bickford?
That's a good question. I agree with everything you've said so far, and it is a very dark movie, but I enjoyed it in a lot of ways. I'm not sure I'm going to put it up with my favorite Christmas movies, but it's an interesting Christmas movie and one I'd like to see again.
And Pierre, what did you think?
Well, I just thought the film was very funny, very entertaining for me, you know, and I just thought it was just great performances. The story was excellent, and I would definitely watch it again and again. And
what do you think of the movie as far as acting goes, Dr. Bickford?
Oh, Billy Bob Thornton is just wonderful in it. He's really everybody. The fact that all the performances are quite good.
Yes, And along with it, I personally thought his performance was profound, and it was one of those performances that we don't forget, at least that we should forget, especially the drinking and the smoking and all that kind of stuff that we enjoyed about the movie.
Yeah, that's what I really enjoyed about Billy Bob. I mean, if you look at past movies, his performances are always profound and unique. And in this one, I just thought it was just wonderful, especially in his. And then you had, adding that with Bernie Mac and John Ritter and Tony Costa who played the elf. It was just a great ensemble. Perfect cast.
John Ritter's very funny in that movie.
Very.
I think. Very funny. Yeah.
It was one of those things, preppy. But now, dark comedies for Christmas. Do you think this could spawn a series of films, or do you think this is just a one in a million?
Let's hope.
I would say there at least should be one. I mean, I think they should release more friendlier Christmas movies still, but like at least one once a year for us adults who kind of like the dirty, Christmas, because a lot of people can't relate to that. I don't know as much as he was, but they can.
Certainly, this is a lot darker than most Christmas movies, and I don't know. I tend to like them a little brighter myself. But that's just me.
Be that as it may, like movies such as Elf, that were brighter, that came out this holiday.
I loved Elf. And well, anyway, go ahead.
I loved it too. Actors like Will Ferrell who bring out the childish kind of things, which I spoke with Dr. Brennan about the cinemas, and he thought it was good too. The movie, the acting, and the constant eating of sugars and that kind of stuff, and the childish thing. And one thing we brought up with Dr. Brennan was how hard would it have been to revert back to a childlike state to do all of this? Was it easy acting, or was it just even tougher to act like, to get that childish feel, that childish emotion, especially when you got to eat like a child and the claymation animation and such.
I don't know.
Really deep acting, really a lot of research and focus, concentration, And I think someone like Will Ferrell could pull that off,
I don't think they could have switched roles with him and Billy Bob Thornton very easily.
No way.
Jane.
Not definitely.
It's kind of hard to imagine Billy Bob Thornton in a bright and sunny comedy.
No, favorite moments of the Bad Santa movie?
Oh, wow.
The moments when he has the children on his lap are just horrendously funny.
Despite all the cursing, which I enjoyed very much, probably the one moment where he did show up drunk and just falling down and whatnot.
It became like an entrance.
Yeah, it was like an entrance. He was just came up the escalator all hammered, and it was just a lot of great scenes. I don't want to say too many obvious scenes.
But yes.
But the moment at the end also where, the redemption scene is a very nice scene.
Yeah.
As, nice scenes in that movie go.
And you and I were talking about how much of a redemption was it toward all he had done. How much of a redemption was it?
Well, he's so dark and he's so depraved throughout most of the movie that, we wonder if it's too little too late maybe. But, I mean, at the end of the movie we do sense there's a decent human being there.
Yes, and some humanity, in this soul. Alrighty, here comes the part that we do every time on these shows. How many Christmas cookies did you give it?
This time I gave it a 7, and I would see it again. Because I think there's more there to see, more there to think about in that movie.
Pierre?
Yeah, I would definitely agree around this 7, and if any kid wants to see it with me, they can just come along. I'm that type of guy.
I'm not bringing kids to see this movie.
If they want to.
Oh my goodness. And here we go. What's your favorite Christmas movie, Dr. Bickford?
My favorite Christmas movie. I like the movie A Christmas Story that came out a couple of years ago from Gene Shepard's short stories. That's one of my favorites. It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, as schmaltzy as that is, it's still a nice movie. I like various versions of A Christmas Carol.
Yes. And Pierre?
Oh, definitely A Christmas Story. I just been watching that movie since I was a little kid, and I still enjoy it. And also, it came on this movie came on TV a few days ago, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh yeah.
I cannot get enough of that movie. Chevy Chase at his best. Great Christmas movie.
That is a funny movie too.
Yes, and let's not forget my favorite, Jingle All the Way. My favorite. That was one of my favorites.
It's Schwarzenegger.
Well, let's not forget Santa Claus versus the Martians, a classic movie. With Pia Zadora as a child, which is
Really is
horrendous, is a good word.
Yes. And MSC students, if you have any movie opinions, you can contact us at the MSC website under MSC-TV, and your emails will be forwarded to here where we will read them off on the air. We thank you for joining us here, and Dr. Bickford, I'd like to thank you for joining us as well. Thank you. And
Yes, thank
Pierre,
you.
Glad to be
as
here.
well. And as for now, we'll see you at the movies.